This is my way of growing sprouts, and I've been doing this for about 40 years. Not always this way, but I've been growing mung bean sprouts in particular. This is my favorite way to do it, and it's foolproof in that I have this technique. I use a clay pot. I soak my beans for the amount of time, 8 to 12 hours, depending on the weather. I usually use 1/4 cup to 1/3 cup to soak. Then I place inside the clay pot with one of these plastic things made out of needlepoint canvas. You get it at the Hobby Lobby or Michael's or Joann's. You cut it to the size you need for your pot. Put it on the bottom, underneath the beans, down here, and inside. Put the soaked beans on top. Put this on top of the soaked beans. This is the trick, the weight. This here is glass stones, marbles or whatever, flat marbles, and they are dishwashable, so they're sanitary. This is a produce bag, also washable. Everything is washable, sanitary in the dishwasher, except I don't put the clay pot in the dishwasher. I wash that by hand and sanitize it with a light bleach solution in between harvest. I put that on top. Then I put this on top. This is 3 days of growing in my kitchen, which is rather cool. In another day or two, it's going to start popping up the lid like this. At that point, I take the lid off. If I don't have enough time, or if I want them extra long, I will turn the lid over to give me 12 more hours or so. But generally, I just do this. I take it off, okay? They're usually about here, starting to leaf out. I put that there till it pops up and you can't prevent light from coming in, or when you're ready to harvest. And then you can dump out the beans gently, and the roots will grow through the mesh. And you can usually get like a root mass that you can cut off with a knife. Just slice it off, either on this side or the underside, whichever you care to do. I usually do the underside. And then they release the beans. There'll be some that'll still have the little tails, but most of them will be stuck in here. Cut it off, soak it in the sink, get the hulls off, dry, dry, dry. Then put them on a big cookie sheet with a towel, and I dry them even more. And then I store them in a produce bag in the refrigerator. And I get long, thick bean sprouts this way. Not quite as thick as the store, but they taste better. They're not all mushy, juicy, wet stuff. I eat the heads, I eat the tails, but I do like to cut the little hair tails off because it looks better when you're serving to people. This is how I do it. It hasn't killed me yet. I always use organic beans, even though they are expensive, just because I have a background in microbiology, and it just makes sense to me to eliminate some of the risk. But read on the internet, you can sanitize somewhat your beans by soaking them either in a hydrogen peroxide light water solution or bleach. I don't do that. I'm too old to worry about it. I honestly, it hasn't killed me. If I was a young woman that was pregnant, no, I wouldn't serve this to a pregnant lady. But I've been doing this so long that if it has been a problem with bacteria, I don't know. I've never had it. I just use good, clean technique, and I eat the beans as they're growing. I test them every day, twice a day usually, to see how much they're growing. And like I said, this is what they look like today. And see how they're getting fat? You leave them longer. these root hairs will go through the mesh, and it'll be a big, like you're taking out a potted plant. It's good. I like the heads on them. I know that, and commercially they don't usually leave the heads on, they cut them off, but that also prevents, that's why they don't last very long in the grocery store, is because of the fact that they cut off too much of the tail, too much of the head. They cut off the head, so all you've got is the long